took them and dumped them both together, mixed it, and I've been doing it like that ever since. I like doing things the easy way. Somebody actually went and measured with a meter parts per million. If you mixed it up that way, how the manufacturer said to do, or if you mixed it all up at once, and he only came up with like 4 to 10 parts per million difference. So that's like 4 parts in a million. So it wasn't that much of a difference. So if you want to take the time and mix them up separate, you can. I don't. So, you know, just take your pick. Hey, Jeannie, how are you doing? Everybody's downspouts are on the way. Now, this is one that you can order if you go ahead and order from Amazon. They've got some that are pre-mixed like this. And this one's got the master blend formula and the Epsom salt mixed together. So that's why you got 5, 12, 25 instead of 4, 18, 38, is because that's a percentage. And when you add Epsom salt into it, that increases the volume. So that number will change a little, but they're actually using the 4, 18, 38. But when you add Epsom salt, that ratio changes a little. So some people are confused about that number. That's all it is that this is mixed with Epsom salt already. And the directions on this says it'll come separate like that, is the tomato formula and Epsom salt, and then they've got calcium nitrate. And like I said, this has to stay separate because it'll actually just absorb a bunch of moisture, and it can turn into like a rock, and you won't be able to do anything with it. The directions on here just say to combine them, the formula, let's see, as per instructions, and it says to mix them together. It's number 1, let's see, choose the rate. So you have to pick like how many gallons. So you have 5 gallons, and it says to dissolve the appropriate amount in water and dissolve the appropriate amount of calcium nitrate in the same container. So it just says to mix this and this in the same thing. It doesn't say to mix them separate. So this is from Master Blend. So maybe they're doing things different, but you know, like I said, I don't mix them different. If you guys feel like you need to, you know, go ahead. Let's see who's here. Miss Christy, how are you doing? Good evening. Good evening. Angela, how are you doing? Hey, Home and Garden. I'm gonna have to check you out later. I'm gonna write that down. I'll come back and check through the chat. You guys go ahead and pop in here and tell me where you're from. Let's see, Donna. Hi, I'm from Florida. I'm North Florida too, right below Jacksonville. And Florida, we didn't get much of a winter here, did we? Aloha, how are you doing? Lightworks. I have family that lived out in Hawaii. My mom was actually born out there. But yeah, we real mild winter. I think we've had 2 days or a couple of days that went down in the 30s. Nothing below freezing. I had no frost. So we might still get a late frost or something come through, an ice storm. You know, I hope not, but I'm ready to get planting. And like I said, the fascinating thing about growing like this is that we're using microgreens to plant out our downspouts. So I always have microgreens around because we're always just eating them, and we grow them in succession. So I'll grow one week, and then I'll have another one coming, and next week I'll start another one. That way, while we harvest one, you've got another one coming right behind of it. And I don't grow a bunch. That's why we use the little small containers, because if I grew a 10 by 20 tray, I probably wouldn't eat it all, and I'd end up tossing it into the compost. And as you guys know, if you grow microgreens, it tends to be a little expensive because you use a lot of seeds. So I don't like to waste any. So I'd rather grow like not enough, just maybe what we're going to, instead of like growing too much and wasting it. But when you're growing it like this and you're using these, if you grow too much, you take it and you pop them in your downspouts, and then you grow them into baby greens, and you can eat those too. But like I said, talking about the Master Blend formula there, they're not saying that you have to mix it together. So if you don't want to, you don't have to. You know, try it either way. If you're finding it's not dissolving all the way, then you might want to do it separate. CB's greenhouse, he mixes them separate, and I think that he actually mixes it with a little warm water, the calcium nitrate, and it dissolves a little better. So everybody just make up your mind. You know, after you do it a couple times, you kind of get a feel for it. Another thing, as far as measuring it, I use a digital scale. and I measure out 10 grams, and 5 grams of Epsom salt. On here, the directions on this says to use the teaspoon. And actually on here it says, right on the lid, directions. 1 scoop equals 1 teaspoon in 1 gallon of water. Dissolve 1 level teaspoon, then dissolve half a scoop of calcium nitrate. So it's saying to just use this, make 1 scoop. So that's not weighing it out, on a digital scale. And then a half, getting calcium nitrate, a half in there. I mean, you can be a gram off or gram, there's no real measurement. So I don't know if they're making this for a do-it-yourselfer and not really for like professionals. So they're not being real exact, but as far as I can tell, they're not real particular on being exact, like we're measuring everything out, parts per million, getting everything just right. And here it seems that it's a little more lackadaisical. Let's see, how's everyone's weather? Yeah, Angela, how is everything? South Carolina, cool. How are you doing? Oklahoma, Queens, New York, little cold. San Diego, awesome. Richmond, Virginia. Let's see, my mom had a twin sister, and she lives in San Diego. Missouri, in the 70s. Yeah. Let's see, I want plant. Hey, you know what? I think I can pop some of these up here. Plant some stuff. Yeah, but the weather is tricky. Yeah, that's what. So that's one thing we're talking about. If you're always growing microgreens, then you plant some of these out. It's not like you have to go out, till the garden, get your compost ready, prep your soil, maybe grow your transplant somewhere to move them. If you're growing your microgreens, you're actually eating your transplants. So it's not like you grow just, unless it's like tomatoes and peppers and that. But your leafy greens, you're growing them, and then you take them and you transplant them into here. And if you have those outside, you still got microgreens growing inside, right? If you get a late frost and it comes through and you don't bring them in and it kills them, then all you do is just pop those out. Your nutrients are probably still good if it, haven't been in there but a couple of weeks, and get your microgreens and pop some more right back in. Now, with the traditional garden, that's kind of a little harder. If you get wiped out like that, it's kind of like, devastating. This is, if you do, you go out there and spend a couple of hours, pull out your dead ones. If you need to, you can change out your nutrient solution, pop the new ones in. It's really easy to do. And that's why I'm going to get started now, even though we might get a little late frost come through. But if we don't, then you're like 2 weeks ahead of time, or maybe even a month. But we got about a month left we have to worry about. Another thing about growing, and it's something about this small. If you guys ever watched like some of my old videos, you see I have like some 8-foot long ones. And that's because in between our post on our patio, it was 8 feet. And we had a 8 foot of 2x6. And one of these would sit on top of there. Now I've been using them smaller like this, and maybe even up to maybe 4 feet. But I have them small like this because if we do need to move them, if there's a frost, all I do is get a 5-gallon bucket, and I pick this up and tilt it, and your nutrients are going to fall out this side. And I dump most of it out so you're not sloshing it all over. Dump it in that 5-gallon bucket, and then take this and set it inside. And then that way, if these are full, you don't have to try and carry them and sloshing stuff all over you and all over the place. I dump some of it out, take it inside. And then if it's just going to be overnight, I just leave a little bit in there. And when we take it back out, I'll fill it back up. If it's going to be 3-4 days or whatever, then you can go ahead and bring your nutrients in and pour it back in. But these are like really portable. You can actually move your garden. If you see some of my videos from a year and a half ago, hurricane, I think it was Irma, came through when we were out on the farm. And we took our whole garden, within a couple of hours. I took the entire garden and put it all inside, and then put the nutrients back in. And we stayed inside for like a week. The hurricane came through, all kinds of, storms came through before it. And then after it was gone, we had to clean up and everything before we even thought about putting our plants back out. So we brought them in for about a week. And then all we did, take them back out, was just dump some of the stuff out, set it back outside, refill it. So it's like a portable garden. It's pretty cool. Maine, awesome. Let's see, another Texas. Hello, I'm late. That's all right. Better late than never. Hey, Miss Lee, how are you doing? Hawaii is lovely. Yeah, I bet. I'm so excited to get my gutters. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Miss Lee, they're on the way. You saw me tweeting in that, right? I spent last week, like I said, I was off last week, and I was over there cutting and drilling, and my neighbors wondering what the hell is going on. I've got some more coming out. Yeah, so if anybody who's popping in here late, if you ordered the very first weekend, not yesterday, but the weekend before when I had the sale, anybody ordered that weekend, I think all of those orders got shipped today. And if you ordered in between that day and yesterday, those will go out. Today is Monday. They'll go out Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Wednesday, I've got to go back out of town. So I'm going to try and get everything that orders up until right now. If you go and order right now, it might be next week when I ship it. But orders up until right now, I'm going to try and get most of those out by Wednesday. Let's see. I got my fabric garden loaded with soil. Cool. Today, and it will be settling next week. Predicted in upstate. Cool. Let me do this too, real quick, and see if everybody can read this a little better. That looks a little small because I'm here by my. How's that? Can y'all read that? Rain. Yeah, you get a lot of rain. So is the fabric garden, is that the one you're talking about with like Larry Hall's, like the one that's in the garden, the grow bags? Good idea. I was trying to make the greens garden or garden that didn't bloom. Yeah, this would be great. Yeah. Hey, I've got, you saw those broccoli greens that we were growing and that were in all the pictures. All of those actually had little heads of broccoli in that, but I let them go to seed. But we didn't get a lot of bees and pollinators. I didn't get out there to pollinate it, so I don't know if I'm going to get any seeds out of it, but I was giving that a try. Oh, here's a question. Now, if I miss a question, y'all just go ahead and repeat it in that until I see it, because we're broadcasting to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So there's a lot of stuff coming in. So if you're just like on YouTube, you're just seeing a couple of questions come through or a couple of comments, or if you're on Facebook, but on my end, they're both coming in at the same time. So if I miss it, go ahead and just redo it. I'm not like ignoring anybody. It's just hard to keep up with everything. What's the best way to clean the downspouts at the end of the grow season? Oh, that's a good question. All I do is dump them out, hose them out. These, if you keep these holes covered, like even if you harvest a plant, you cover that back up, make sure you keep that hole covered, keep the entire thing covered, or put aluminum foil or whatever you can do. Keep these holes covered so that light doesn't get in here. And I haven't had any problem with algae growing inside of these. Now, if you have them in the direct sunlight and you have a hole like that, or any way that light can get in, you'll start to get some algae in there. Really, I've used some of these for years. I've had some that back when my videos first started, I'm still using them, and you'll get a little residue from the salts and everything, and whatever's coming out of, the residue from these will kind of build up on it. It hasn't really bothered my plants or anything, so I don't bother trying to get it all off. All I do is just fill it up. I put a couple capfuls of bleach in there, or hydrogen peroxide. Some people don't like bleach. They use hydrogen peroxide. And if you want to get some of that crusty stuff off, I'll go ahead and put maybe like half a cup of vinegar sometimes and just let it sit for a day. If I'm not in a hurry, I just let it sit for a day, and then I come in with a high pressure hose and hose it off. You can get a baby bottle brush if you want, or something that kind of bends around if you try to get it off. But really, I just put a little bit of that in, a little bleach, a little vinegar, and let it sit, and then just rinse it out. Let's see what's next. You're the bomb, Mike, so appreciate. Hey, no problem. No problem. So I can have a great, yeah. And y'all let me know how that goes. Don't forget, if you guys are on Facebook, look up Keep On Growing. I'll come back. I think I forgot to put it down in the description, but I have a Facebook group, and it's just look up Keep On Growing on Facebook and ask to come in there and share whatever you guys are growing in this, or just your garden. If you got a traditional garden, I love looking at square foot gardens, mint lighter, biodynamic, Larry Gardens, the gutter gardens, whatever you guys are growing. we love seeing it all. Put it in there if you've got questions about any of this. Like I said, I'm out of town a lot, and I try to get to questions, but there's a lot of guys in there that grow with crack key. They know about the nutrients and master blend. If you got any questions, get in there. And there's a bunch of people like CB and David Charest, Matt. There's a bunch of guys that will answer your questions for you. So go ahead and join that group if you want. It's a real cool. We can get together and just share what we're going. I love seeing all of that. Let's see. So the BOGO is still going on. Yeah, it's. I figured I'd go ahead and let it go because I did something on TikTok and I was showing people, just like the gutter or whatever, and people are going, "Where do I get one of those?" I'm like, okay. And then they look at YouTube and then they see I had a sale and they're like, oh, I missed a sale. So I'm going to go ahead and let it go on. And just until, I'm starting work this week and I'm going back and forth kind of sporadic. And as long as I got time to keep making them and keep up with it, I'll go ahead and keep it going for a little while longer. When I get behind where I can't make them and I can't get them to people quick enough, then I'll go ahead and cut off the sale. But I'm trying to get it to as many people as I can. And, if I had all the money in the world, I would just have a bunch of them made and I'd have a bunch of boxes. And when people order, I could just shove them in there or I'd just ship them out free to everyone. But, I just can't do that. But I'm going to do as much as I can. And one thing is I went on TikTok and a couple other places. I'm showing other people how to do this, how to make these too, because I'd like it if everyone had one everywhere. And so I'm not the only one who, can use a chop saw or a heat gun. Some people aren't comfortable with that, but there's a lot of handymen out there. And I've been showing people, hey, you can make these. So maybe a lot more people will start selling them. And then it's not, just me. It's, it's not like this is something, fancy and nobody can think of it. If you got a heat gun and a chop saw, you can make one, or a hole saw. So there's going to be more people making them, and who knows? Maybe everybody there will have one on the back porch or whatever, or have like a dozen of them out there. And I know I can't make that many. So, any problems growing peppers with the downspout? No, it's just that anything like fast growing leafy greens work good, because if you know anything about hydroponics, and everybody comes in, always asks, if they're new and they just come and see the crack key system, they're always saying, well, you don't need bubbler, you don't need aeration, you don't need circulation. That if you're growing fast growing leafy greens, like all of our pak choi and lettuce, your spinach, your chard, if you grow all of that stuff, you really don't need it. When you're growing peppers, that goes a lot longer. And I've grown them in there. I think I've got a couple videos. I don't really have them to list here, but if you look through my YouTube channel, I grew some peppers, and I think Keely V, who just popped in the chat. That's my wife. We grew salsa peppers, which were, not like real hot, but they're hotter than habanero. And those grew just fine. I think we grew banana peppers. They grew fine. It's just what you want to do is maybe get a bigger container. I don't think that it worked very good in these. You can get them started in here, but I grow mine in a 16-gallon tote, like 16 to 20 gallons. Fill it up, and then that way it takes a long time for it to use, all of that nutrient solution. And you're not worried about, trying to fill it up and then overfilling and killing the roots. And anything that takes a longer time, like tomatoes, peppers, some people growing cucumbers. Those take a little bit more work, and you actually have to keep an eye on it after they get so big. So that's why I like to have everybody learn how to grow leafy greens right off the bat. Is that you're growing microgreens, all you got to do is just grow them a little bigger. You got, leafy greens. You can grow lettuces. Any of the root vegetables are a little tough too, because those take a long time, and that's a little tricky. But you can do it. It's just it takes a little bit more time for you to watch over it. You can't just like set it and forget it. Like y'all saw the pictures of the broccoli sprouts, and I put it in there, and we've got this entire like little garden of just all broccoli greens. And right now is they're just about running out of nutrients. I just filmed it, so that's a video that'll be coming out. I planted those out in the milk cartons, the almond breeze, and you can look back and see when I first started it till now, did nothing to it. Planted them out, put them in the cartons, set it out there, and I told everyone I'll just come back, give them updates. We're pick off of it and eat it, but I don't do anything other than that. I don't check the nutrient level. I didn't refill it any, so they all got half a gallon of nutrients each. It's in a shade house, but might have got a little bit of rain, might have kind of worked its way in, but they're kind of plugged up. There's not a whole lot of rain will go in there, but I didn't do anything to it, and you can see how much has grown all by itself. And that's a video that's coming out. But that's why I like to teach people that stuff, is because I think about people like my parents or something. If they wanted to grow something like this, they tried to garden before and gave up. But if they can just take something and put it in, like the Aero Garden, you put it on your countertop and kind of forget about it. That's what we do. If you want to grow anything else, it's going to be long-term tomatoes, eggplant. I think I saw somebody growing eggplants, cucumbers, peppers. You can do it, and it's possible. It just takes a little more care. So this is like beginner step, and then that's the next step up. So it all works. It just takes a little bit more. Let's see. It's the weirdest thing ever. My yard, let's see, long green beans were growing faster in the cracky than in the DWC. Oh, cool. Awesome. That's another thing. Beans, if you guys have a problem, and you guys can grow any way you want, but a lot of people who grow don't like to use pesticides. And I don't use anything, even organic pesticides. I think there's BT or something's one of the organic ones. We don't use anything. But one problem we do have is leaf miners once in a while, especially the pak choi. They love it. And I found out I grew beans one year, was just an experiment, was for fun, because somebody asked, can you grow beans? I said, I'll give it a try. And we had an 8-foot trough filled with beans. They grew about this big and started having beans. There were beans all over it. But the leaf miners started just going crazy on it. I forgot what kind of bean I had, but they loved that so much, and they left the pak choi alone. And since that was an experiment, I wasn't going to bother. And, we weren't eating them or anything. I was just growing it and filming it. And so I let them go to town on the leaves because they weren't bothering the beans themselves. So that's one thing you guys should think about too, as far as if you don't want to use any kind of pesticide, think about if there's some kind of sacrificial plants that you can grow that the bugs like more, or if they're coming in, that, like, sometimes when we grow tomatoes, we'll grow a bunch of tomato plants, and I keep the ones near me that I really want, and I'll plant like the crappy looking ones and I'll put those out farther around in the yard. And that way I'm thinking the things that are coming towards us may stop on all of that before they actually get, up to our porch. So that's called kind of sacrificial planting, is to plant a little more than you need and plant some for the bugs in that. Then you don't have to worry about killing them, and you feed the bugs too, and everybody's happy. This year I plan on doubling our garden. Yep. Definitely have to watch all the plants. Yeah, but my leafy greens are doing pretty well right now. Awesome. Cool deal, Dexter. Let's see. I just love going out and grab salad. Yeah, isn't that cool? That's one thing, is just having especially with the prices of stuff, like if you get like organic salads and stuff, when you go and get all the greens and you bring them home, our refrigerator's like smaller now, but you put them in there, and some of it inevitably gets pushed to the back, and it wilts, and and then you throw it in the compost. So I feel like I'm buying stuff from the store and throwing it in the compost pile. But being able to just leave it growing fresh, you go out there and just pick a couple leaves, like basil. Basil grows wild in these kind of systems. I had a 16-gallon tote, put a couple of basil seeds, and they grew 4 plants, and they grew huge. I think I've got a couple of videos about it. I harvested it. They grew back. It was like I had like 4 harvests out of it. It was just crazy. But you can go out there and you just pick, a couple leaves and leave the rest growing, and have your salad, like she's saying, salad, soup. If you're gonna make spring rolls, whatever you can have, if you just want some lettuce on your sandwich, just go out there and just pick it. It's just awesome being right out your back door. Love, yep. What's up, Mike? Hey, what's up? How are you doing? Your videos and booklet helped me so much with my hydro garden. Thanks. Hey, no problem, bud. That's what it's all about, right? Cool deal. Hi, brother from Texas. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, Alan, how are you doing? Let's see. Okay, I got a comment from, trying to see if I missed any. Here's one, I think. Trying garden greens that didn't bloom. Okay, no, I saw that. All right, so if you all have any questions, like I said, if I miss it, just pop it back in here. And like I said, I'll try to get to everybody. It's just kind of hard keeping up with everything. But all right, so you guys understand about the nutrients. I don't stress out about it too much. I just mix them both together, so you'll get, something like that. And if you order it on your own, that's what a lot of people said. I don't have a digital scale. This one on here just says it's got a little scoop. It says just use, 1 scoop of that and then half a scoop of the calcium nitrate, and it says per gallon of water. So you don't need a digital scale. So like I said, if it gets to be too stressful, that's why I don't use any kind of meters. And everybody's like, oh, they're cheap or they're easy to use. I'm like, yeah, but everyone might not want to do that. So I'm trying to do it where I don't use any of the meters. If you want to go get some meters, fine. That's cool. Anything extra that you can do, all the better. If you want to mix these exact, you can do that, all the better. I'm trying to make it easy so that just about anybody can do it, so that nobody gets discouraged. So you can get started like baby steps. So we try not to stress out about anything. So this is an easy way to mix it. They don't stress out about it. Let's see. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? Great seeing you. Yeah. What was your remedy for mosquitoes? Inside the thing with the broccoli, all of the open container that had the water flowing around in it. I think I just put some salt in there, just got the salinity up really bad because it wasn't going into the containers. And I haven't had any mosquitoes in there. So I think that worked. Everybody gave me a lot of good ideas. They were saying like put oil. There was all different things. And I didn't really want to get oil around on everything. Like cooking oil and that, not like motor oil. Some people said fish, but this was, just around the outsides of the milk carton containers. And I didn't want to put any fish in there. Like I said, I go on the road a lot and I didn't want to be gone for like 3 or 4 days and nobody's feeding them, or, I know they're eating mosquitoes, or it gets cold. And I didn't want to kill a bunch of fish accidentally just to control the mosquitoes. But a lot of good suggestions came in. But basically, I just got like a thing of salt, like what is it, less than $1 or something in the store. And I poured the salt into the water and just got it really, really salty. So I think that worked. Looking forward to growing, some arugula. Yeah, that's good. How do you eat your arugula? Salads and that? My wife makes shrimp, and she sautés it really fast with a little garlic and butter and lemon. And then while it's hot, drizzle it onto a bed of arugula, and the arugula, what do you call it, wilts a little bit. It's delicious. Miss Lee, I use my AeroGarden plastic plant holders to hold the sponges at the top. Right, I've seen those. Of an extra large vinegar bottle. They fit perfectly. Cool. It's a test. I'll let you know. Awesome. And that's a good thing. I want you guys trying different things and testing. Even if you buy one of these and use that, if you want to try something else, you know what? Before I did this, I used the round sewer pipes. That's, you see the NFT systems where you got the water flowing through it, and some people are using that. I use that because it was easy. All you had to do was get a cap, because they come with caps, and you cap it off, drilled some holes in the top. The only thing was it rolled around, so we had to stop it from rolling. And when I was looking at our guardrail being a flat piece of board, and I saw these, I was like, man, if I could close up the ends, that sits right on there and doesn't roll. And they actually have clips that you put on your wall when you make this your downspout. You know, you have gutters and this is your downspout. They have clips that go on the wall that you screw on here to hold this in place. You can actually get those clips if you've got like a wooden handrail and screw those clips on, and then this sits in and makes it a little more sturdy. Just a tip. Did I get off on a tangent? I don't know what I was talking about before then. Kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, the Arrow Garden. That's another thing I was going to talk about, these sponges, because you're talking about the Arrow Garden and the little, I think everybody knows what an Arrow Garden is. They've got little tiny net cups and little sponges that fit in it. Now, I'm just using the pool noodle, and the reason why I did that was, like I said, I was trying to get everything down as cheap as possible, as easy as possible for everyone. But when I first started, I used a sponge like craft foam, and I used a 2-ounce Dixie cup. And I sat there and cut the bottoms off all the Dixie cups and cut the sponge to fit in it. Worked perfect. If you look at my real old videos, that works good. But I had to sit there. It took me like hours to cut them all and get them all prepped in that. And then I got to using, my wife saw these and said, why don't you use a pool noodle? That looks like it's about the right size. So I started putting those inside the Dixie cups, and that worked good. And then one day I had to plant some stuff out and I ran out of Dixie cups. So I just put this in here without the Dixie cup, and it fit good. And I've been doing that ever since. I said, wow, you don't have to buy a Dixie cup anymore. This comes out in about 2 cents a piece. You know, how cheap is that? But here, this is what I was going to talk about. When y'all get these, you can see they just about fit in, and they might be a little bit big. This is what I do. If you guys haven't seen any of my videos, cut through like that. It's real easy. Then I go through and just cut probably not even like half an inch. See, like that. And I just push that up in there. That fills up the center, right? And you can see when you close it, it doesn't totally cover it. You see the little holes? Those little spots, that's where you want to put your little plants. That way you're not like squeezing them to death, because you're going to take this and squish it into here. So you want to put your plants right in those little holes. So that kind of fits perfect. And that fits right in there like that. So you don't have to squeeze it too hard. And then you don't need a net cup. Now, if you are just growing little leafy greens, baby greens like that, that works perfect. If you're trying to grow something a little bigger, then you might need a little more stability. And the reason why I cut these at 1 7/8 is the hole saw that I have, is because if you guys want to go out on Amazon or whatever and get these 2-inch net cups, this still fits right down inside of there. So that way you can use most of these. Some of them are a little smaller, some are a little bigger. They'll still fit inside of there. I didn't want to cut it too big, you know, and then these don't fit in anymore, and then you're just kind of stuck with that. So if you guys want to use these, you can. And all you got to do is, see, that's a little big. Just cut it a little bit smaller. Here, we'll cut one a little smaller. And just keep going a little smaller until it fits. Now, you have something like what the hydroponic growers use is the net cup. And you have that, and that costs 2 cents instead of 25 cents to, they can go up over $1, almost $2. It depends on, you know, where you get them. So the cloning collars cost quite a bit, but you can cut it so that that fits in there. So when you guys get this, that's why I cut it a little smaller than 2 inches, so the 2-inch net cup will still fit in there if you want to use those. That one's a little big. The other ones that I have are a little bit smaller. But these aren't that expensive, and you can use them over and over. It's just when it's time to harvest and re-clean and get ready for your next harvest. If you use net cup, you're going to pull these out. Roots are going to be all through here. You're going to have to try and pull all the roots off. Then you're going to have to wash this, sterilize that. If you're growing with just this, when it comes time to transplant, you pull these out, pull your old plant out. I just toss all these in a bucket, fill it up with water. I put like a cap full of bleach, hydrogen peroxide sometimes, and I put another bucket on top, fill it up with water, so it kind of pushes them all down in the water, and then let it sit for a couple hours or overnight or whatever. And I come out and rinse them all off, and all good. Let's see, I missed a bunch of comments here. What about the 5 gallon? Would you, let's see. Were you still talking about like the mosquitoes and that, or I don't know what you're asking there, Michelle. Would you recommend compost tea? I'm going to try that this year. Might as well, right? We all know that this works. I've been doing it. If you watch my videos for, I think I'm going on 3 years. All of it, I tested out like general hydroponics, a couple different ones, but basically I've used this. So we know this works. So all in all, if anybody wants to do it and you know it works, you use that. So I figure why not try something different? And everybody's asking about organic, and we've got some compost out back. My wife's got a little worm bed. We're going to go ahead and give that a try. I grew some more broccoli sprouts. You guys see, we always have those going. And since we grew the broccoli sprouts, and I think I use that as like a control because I know how that came out. I think I'm going to plan out. I've got a couple more of those milk carton containers. I don't have 60 like the first time, but I've got some more of those, and we're going to try and make a compost tea and start to grow some in those. Usually I don't use anything organic because it breaks down fast and it goes anaerobic. You get all kind of stuff growing in there and it gets smelly. I don't, most hydroponic growers I think don't use anything organic. It's just kind of tough, but we're going to give it a try. Let's see, great videos. I'm trying microgreens. Cracky, awesome. Yeah, Cracky's awesome. 43. Oh, you got a 43-foot RV. Wow. Do you make custom sized downspouts? I can. You're gonna have to maybe you can message me on Etsy or DM me or something. I make longer ones, but the only thing is with shipping, the reason why I go with about this size is that if you get any bigger, like 4 feet, some people want 4-foot ones or 6 foot, then it can't go by like the post office. It has to go by like truck or freight, and then you're talking about like the shipping costs like going out the roof. So that's why we kind of stuck with this size too. It's portable, it's easy to mail, but um, you can always get with me and I'll figure out a cost for you, whatever. All we do with shipping is I just punch in the dimensions of the box it's going to be in and the weight. I'll weigh out how much they weigh and I punch it in, and then whatever zip code we're mailing it to, and it spits out an estimate. So I don't really know until I know where it's going, and I punch it all in the calculator. And let's see, what time is that? 9:36. Am I way behind on the comments? Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to keep up. Let's see, you got me interested in hydroponic style. Yeah, I've been doing sprouts forever. Yep, and container garden soil, and I'm gearing up, getting ready to go all out microgreens. Cool, awesome, can't wait. Yeah, experiment with it. I love y'all guys. Just experiment. That's how I figured a lot of this out before I even made my first YouTube video. I spent like 3 or 4 years messing around. Oh, and that's what I'm getting together is all my old pictures. Like I said, I've got a bunch of crappy pictures. It's we didn't have a good camera way back when we started, and I didn't even think about starting a YouTube channel. So I was taking pictures for ourselves. But I was going back through some of those, and it was kind of fascinating the experiments that I went through to get to this point. This wasn't like how I started. So I was going to get those together. Maybe I'll do a live stream and I'll plug in my old hard drive and we'll just go through some of those pictures. But I'm trying to get those into folders because there's like thousands and thousands of them, but I'm trying to get them together. So everybody that bought an ebook, I said, you get free updates in that. I was going to put all those in a Dropbox somewhere, or, and send everybody a code so they can go and look all through those at their leisure. So I was going through those. I was like, wow, that might be fun. So I might come on a live stream and go through like all the old photos. There's different things that I'd done. One cool thing was I dug like a trench instead of, having a trough for water. I dug out a trench in the ground and put styrofoam on it and grew plants in there and all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Using your noodle idea, you see to grow bare root strawberry plants. Cool. Great for keeping the crowns above water. They're floating together. Oh, neat. Great strawberries. We'll move them. Hey, let me see how that's going. I've got like 3 strawberry plants and nothing to write home about. They were like tiny strawberries and maybe about a handful. What squirrels didn't get to. But yeah, I'd like to see how your strawberries are doing. I get a lot of questions about that. Okay, the pool noodles will be coming out soon. There's yeah, I don't know where you're at, Michelle. We're down here in Florida. Ours are out right now. And good thing, because I all the stuff that I stockpile from, at the end of summer, they go on clearance, and I like grab a bunch. So I'm like walking out like a maniac. It's like getting um kind of cold, chilly, here in Florida. And I'm grabbing all the pool noodles and walking, out the store with them. But I just about ran out, so I needed some, and I've been looking around. And here in Florida, our Dollar Tree sold some of them all through the season for Halloween, because people are doing crafts with them now. And so it's not just like kids during the summertime are grabbing them for swimming them. There's like DIY crafts and everything. So at Halloween, they all switched to orange and black. So that's why, I had green, and then I had to switch to black. So some of you guys might have black ones, some of you might have green ones. Those are basically the two I try to get. Then Christmas came, and they switched to green and red. So I had to switch back to that. So they sell them all through the season here, not as abundant. They don't have like, aisles full of them like they do at summertime, but we can still get a couple of them. Let me see. Y'all let me know, like I said, if you see if I missed anything. They're small, real. Yeah, the strawberries were small and sweet. Yep. My Dollar Tree only has St. Patrick's so far. Oh, okay. They only have the St. Patrick's. Oh, here's one too. Let's see. Lisa needs to drive to her RV to Florida and stop by your place to pick up some custom gutters. Yeah, we could always do that. If it, if you're that, I didn't think about that. If you're close to Florida, or I could drive. I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, and my wife sells on Poshmark and Facebook Marketplace. We flip, buy stuff and sell it. And I meet people just up at the Orange Park Mall. It's like right off of 295. If you're going around the expressway around Jacksonville, around the south end, if you pull off like less than half a mile, there's like the mall. And I usually meet people right there. That would like be a good place to meet up. If you wouldn't mind meeting a crazy old fart. I plan on doing that. Cool deal. All righty. So has anybody got any more questions or anything? I think I'm caught up in the chat. Like I said, I might have missed some. It's kind of hard to see everything. And if not, like I said, uh, y'all get out there, grow stuff, experiment with it. It's fun. Spring's coming. Like I said, I hope we don't get a late frost or whatever. But if we do, we can just start over. Right now, I just planted out. I had microgreens, and I like to grow some different things. We've got green onions growing out there in the cracky system that we had from last fall. And as long as you keep the water down below the bulb where the roots go into the water, even if some of those roots die, new roots will grow. Those green onions have been in there. If you see my video from like 2 months ago, they're still out there just like full as can be. And we just go out whenever we want and grab them. But green onions are usually like cheap. So I usually, anything that's really cheap at the store, I don't grow too much of, because I feel like if I've got to go to the store to buy it, I'll go buy the cheap stuff. Like jalapenos are like cheap. So I grow them once in a while just because it's fun to just walk out and just grab one, take a bite off of one, or make some fresh salsa. But if I need to go to a store and they're like $3 for $1 or something, it's not that expensive. But I like to grow stuff like amaranth. I got some of that planted out because you can't buy that anywhere. I've got a Indian spice called fenugreek, and that's got a real aromatic smell to it. Um, I have those as microgreens. I'm decided to try and grow those to baby greens and see what they're like. And what else I got? Of course, I got broccoli. I still got bunches of that because at this time of year, it's just growing wild. It's easy to grow. Pak choy, we can find bok choy in the store sometimes, but I don't know how it is where most of you live, but the pak choy or bok choy that we get at the store, it's comes, it's like a head. All the greens are always just wilted and look terrible. Most time we cut those off, you end up eating a little crunchy white part. But if you grow the seashell variety like I do, and you grow it and you just use it as a cut and come again, you pull it off. The greens are nice and crispy, just like, more than spinach. It's more crisp than spinach. But when you chop it up, you can take it and drop it in your soup, and it'll just wilt right in your soup. You don't have to cook it or anything, and you don't lose a lot of the nutrients. So you just chop it up. The greens wilt, and then the white parts stay crunchy. So I don't even cook it. It's you make a hot bowl of ramen and chop it up, drop it in there, and it's awesome. You buy it from the store, and it looks like it's weeks old, and it doesn't look all that appetizing. So it's just cool to go out and pick something that you can't normally find at the store. So if I run out of room, I might grow some lettuce, but I can go to the store and pick some lettuce up. If I hear lettuce prices are going to go through the roof this year or something, I'll make sure and plant some in that too, because it depends on, what happens with the growing season. Sometimes, lettuce is really expensive, and other times it's kind of cheap. So I try to grow the things that I usually don't get at the store. What do you call it? Like carrots. We grow those for the greens. We can't always get carrot greens, but carrots are kind of cheap. So I don't grow a whole lot of those. Um, uh, but pak choi, I can't get that. Amaranth is something different. So I'm going to try a couple of different things too. So you guys let me know what you want to see me try and grow this year. I'm open. I think I've got a couple open downspouts and a couple open spaces. I just can't grow a whole lot because we have our backyard. There's a bunch of trees. There's a little spot where sunlight's coming through, and we're renting. So I can't go out there and like just chop down trees and stuff. So we don't have a limited amount of sunlight coming in. So I don't have a huge garden, but I can try some different things. But it's great because then I can show you guys if somebody lives in an apartment or has a small space or just a tiny backyard, that you can still grow a lot of your own food. I plan on doing that. Let's see. Are you interested? Are you interested in trying endive that you keep in the dark? I know I can give that a try. So it grows totally in the dark, because we grow bean sprouts totally in the dark. Don't even put those out in the sunlight. But yeah, I'm open for anything. I'm just happy our moringa made it through the winter. It's tall. Some people still let it grow tall like a tree, but how am I going to harvest it? If it's like 20 feet tall. So my wife's just about topped them off. And it's getting a little chilly right now. I'm ready to cut them back and see if they start growing. And I want to grow some more sprouts, but that was cool just having moringa out in the garden whenever we wanted it. Just finished the first farmer's market, sold out microgreens. Awesome, Tim. Cool. Push grow box and downspout, but no bites. Yeah, second time to experience. Cool. Awesome. No, yeah. If it might take a while. You know what? I've had going on 3 years, doing this, and I opened up like the little Etsy shop, and I put my grow boxes and everything in there. I think it was in there for like 4 or 5 months before anybody would even click over to it, before I even got any traffic. So and mainly it was because I was showing people how to make it, and everybody was making them. I wasn't doing it just to try to market it. Otherwise I would have did things different. So 90% of everybody's trying to do it on their own, and then some people might need one. So that's why it's over there. But it took a little while. It's not like everyone will run out like buy them like they're going like hotcakes. Thanks, Mike. Wishing everyone a peaceful. Yeah, cool. Sweet dreams. Catch you later, Miss Lee. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, sometimes people want to buy the microgreens instead of growing them. Yeah. Yeah, Tim, that's cool. I mean, and if you and Tim, Pepe Fossos, right? They like pops in once in a while, and he's got a YouTube channel. He's growing them in Australia, which I don't know where you're at, and you have to check on different regulations. Wherever you live, your local authorities and that. But it's cool watching what he's doing. And he's growing them in like containers about this size, and they're compostable. And he has a lid, you put on it, it acts like a little dome to get your microgreens started, pops them off. And then when he takes them to market, he covers them up like that, and they sit in the refrigerated section at the local grocery store, or he sells them at the farmer's market. And I was watching when he first got started. He just had a couple of racks up in his sunroom, and now he had this entire barn was like a big hog barn or something. Redid it, and turned it into his microgreen farm. And his pictures that he has, he's on Instagram. It's 560 Farms. And if you watch that, he's like posting pictures and stuff every day. It's just awesome looking stuff. We'll send you some indexes. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll give that a try. That sounds awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Just tuned in. Yep. Would you use the grow box for an indoor hydroponic system? I'm in New York City, so no outside space. Yeah, that's what it works fine for that. Like I said, if you just need some grow lights, it depends on. Some people think like sunlight's enough. It depends on where you're at. Usually, if you have a window, unless you're sitting and the sun's just going right over the horizon like that, you're not going to get like a whole lot of sun the entire day or 8 hours, coming in the window. So you need some kind of artificial light. But check out Brad Hidden Harvest Grow Lights, or Amazon has a bunch on there too. But it works fine inside. I actually, like I said, during the storm, we dumped out some of the nutrients, carried everything inside, filled it back up, and left them in there with the lights going and everything. Every time if we're gonna have a freeze, we might bring some of them in. Let's see who's on here. Jeff Gardner. I think he was here at the beginning of the stream. If you're here still, Jeff, chime in so they can see you. He's growing indoors, and he uses the crack key system. It's not in downspouts like this, but he's growing in different crack key systems, which is no aeration, no pumps. And I think somebody had mentioned that before, and I might have missed that. They asked about pumps and bubblers and that, and you really don't need it in this system. If you want to use aeration, if you want to put bubblers in, it helps. That's another step and another step up that you can take. Like I said, I'm trying to do it so anybody can like go get a recycled container and they can grow some food. But if you want to use pumps, you can. So these people come on and say you have to do it. You don't really have to. It's possible not to, but if you can do it, it's better. So I'm not saying like this is the only way you can do it. Lucas Farms. Hey, Mike. Shared. Oh, cool. Appreciate it. Shredded, dude. Yep. You too. Awesome. Are you heavy metal? Just wondering because you got a little baby in there and you're saying shredded. I know some dude like that. But yeah, cool. So if anybody's got any more questions, pop them in real quick. If not, let's see. Yeah, we're going on one hour here. And if you tune in later, they'll be able to go back through and check everything out. But I'm just explaining to everyone what's going to come in their downspouts. If you ordered that first weekend, they went out today. If you ordered in between that weekend and yesterday, they'll probably go out this week. I explained the nutrients to everybody, how to use them. There's different ones you can get. Now this one, when you mix it up, it turns a little blue. Don't be alarmed. That's just how that is. But I usually just get master blend because I buy them bulk because we go through so much of it. And I get the 30. No, I think right now I'm just going through like the 5 or 10 pound bag at a time. My first one I got was 25-pound bag, and that lasted me about 6 years. So you might not want to get that much at one time. But we talked about that. We talked about pool noodles, if you need to put them in the net cups, and how to trim them up. So if y'all missed any of that, it's back in the video. You can watch the replay. Let's see. Are you still? Yes. Let's see. I think that I pinned a comment. I know on YouTube, the very first comment at the top or down in the description, and at Facebook, it's up above in the description. If you go to the Etsy shop, just make sure you pick the one that says the 2-pack because I think I had a banner. I forgot to put this up the whole time just to let people know. All right, it's still on sale. Links down in the description below, or if you're on Facebook, it's up above. There are different places. But if you go into Etsy, make sure that you hit the one that says 2-pack, and that'll come out to half price, which is like buy one, get one free. So if you get the 1-pack, it says $19.99. And then the 2-pack's usually twice as much as $39.98. But if it should have a little half price thing on it still. And if not, somebody let me know and I'll go in there and adjust it or fix it. But I think that I left that sale on, so that code, you won't need a code or anything. It should just automatically be on there. I thought that would be easier than trying to give everybody a coupon code and some people not getting it or punching it in wrong. And so I figured this would be easier, that even if people wander in there from somewhere else like Google, just searching, that they'll just get the half price thing, and no big deal. At least everybody will get to grow some stuff. So I just left it on there. But if you have any problem with it, go ahead and email me or hit me up on Twitter. Everybody follow me on Twitter too. It's you can either find me as Mike Van Doozy or Lottery of Life, and we can talk over there. Let's see. I did not see growing nutrients at your site. Let's see. If you go to Alan, wonder if they ship out to Hawaii. If you go to the Amazon, I think there's a link to Amazon. That first page that comes up all the way at the bottom, one will say hydroponic supplies, and the other one will say seeds and other stuff. So if you click on the link, it goes to the Amazon store, and then you click at the bottom, it says hydroponic supplies, and it should be in there different, unless Amazon stopped carrying it. I'll go back and check it. I haven't checked that in like a month. I set those up. I'll go back and check it. They had these, but once in a while they sell out because they go so quick. But Master Blend was having, people were selling like 1 pound or 2 pound. Now watch out. I want to tell y'all one more thing before I go. If you need to, I'd like you to order from Amazon, down there. I get a small percentage, like 4% or something, it's like less than sales tax. But if you can't find it there, or people jack the price up because anyone can sell on Amazon. If you find the price is too high, check out Morgan County Seeds, and that's where I order directly from. But you're gonna have to pay shipping through there. That's why I like to go through Amazon. But some people will order it from Morgan County Seeds or wherever they get it, and they'll buy it in bulk like I did, and then they'll repackage it in a smaller 1 pound bags, and they'll jack the price up. So be careful when you order. If you go to look at Micro Master Blend and it's like $40 for 1 pound or something. Make sure to check a bunch of different prices and make sure they're all about the norm. And if you can't do that, go check out Morgan County Seeds and see how much the shipping is. I like using Amazon because I can order and like 2 days later, it's in my mailbox. But make sure you don't get scammed by some people who are trying to charge too much for it. Are you still having the sale? Yeah. Yes, I think I answered that right. And when do you use Seed Blend on your Amazon store? When do you use the Seed Blend? That's just once in a while. If some people like that a little more, then you can use that in place of like the Master Blend. I don't use it too much. Someone had asked me about that once, and I put that in there. You don't really need to use it. I haven't used it in like a year. But if you want to experiment with, that's what I was going to get that. And then I was going to get different like compost teas. We're going to experiment with things this year. So that's one of the things that we're going to be growing. So we have like our control stuff that we did for the past year. And this year, lots of the stuff that we're growing is going to be all experimenting with different things. So like that's to come. I might have had a video already shot on it, but I don't know if I edited it. And we're going to try just regular compost tea that we make ourselves. How you put in a 5-gallon bucket, put your little bubbler in there. We're going to try that too. So lots of stuff that is to come. Hey, yeah. Okay. That's what I thought when I saw the little baby there. So that's heavy. How you doing, brother? The C90. Yeah. That's what that was in there from before. Like I said, I put that in and we were going to experiment with it, but that's coming up. Hey, what's with the Aussie guy making foam inserts, but foam? Let's see. Guy making foam inserts, but from foam foot mats. I don't know. Do you know which one it is or what his name is? Like other people, see, that's one thing too. Somebody, and I love all my gardener friends and everything on here. Somebody was like using this or something. Pool noodles on their. They made a video, was getting some views on it, and somebody got upset and they're like, "You're copying Mike and everything." And I love people sticking up for me, but my wife saw this. I didn't find out from anyone. We used it and we experimented with it, but that doesn't mean like I'm the only one who ever had that thought. There might have been 14 different people have the same thought, you know, and can put stuff out there. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're copying each other. And if they use something different, before I use this, I use craft foam that you find in the stores, like you use in your seat. You find one that doesn't have flame retardant stuff on it. That's just plain foam, and that worked fine. But I had to cut it; it was really tough. Then after that, I actually used a yoga mat. So maybe that's what foam foot mats. See, I used a yoga mat and that. So you know, but I had to cut those holes. So what I did was I got a um, the punch that you use for paper, like the arts and crafts, the die cut punches to make a hole. I found a 2-inch one, and I took it apart, and I took that die cut and I put a bolt through it, and I put it on a drill and actually cut through. I think I've actually got one video with that. We went from foam to the yoga mats because it was kind of like neoprene, like what a cloning collar is. And I was making those, and it was taking me a while cutting them. And then when you get a yoga mat, which is kind of expensive, right? They're like 20, 30, 40 bucks. And you're cutting all these round holes out of it. It's like when you cut cookies, you've got all these weird shapes left over, right? And I hate to just make a bunch of garbage and waste it. Um, then I was using styrofoam. That worked well too. And I just got a cookie cutter, 2-inch cookie cutter. I heated it up with a torch and melted through the styrofoam. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and cut a bunch of those. And then I take the styrofoam and cut it in half. And you can look back in my old videos, and I had the styrofoam, and that worked good too. You know, that would hold up really well, and it was sturdy. So I thought of a lot of different things, and it doesn't mean like I'm the only one with that thought. So there's probably, you know, a bunch of people out there that have, you know, the same thought. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're all copying each other. And when somebody was like defending me and saying, you know, they should give you credit and this and that, I'm like, you know what? Everybody's learning how to grow. That everybody's getting excited about doing things. I can't reach the entire world. So that's part of sharing, and you know, all of us putting stuff out. You know, if I didn't have a job, and this was my full-time job, and it's what's putting food in my family's mouth, you know, I might get a little upset. But you know, this is I have a full-time job, and this is just what, you know, I do. And if everybody can share, and like I said, we can teach the world to feed themselves, you know, what a cool thing to do, right? So add worm cat. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try that. Keely's got a little worm bed going. We're gonna use some of that. Doing great, Mike. Keeping the grind, buddy. Yep, yep, yep. Always. Let's see. One more here before we go. Like garage anti-fungus gnats. Oh, the fatigue mats. Yeah. What do you call it? So yeah, I've used yoga mats like that. And that works good because I mean they last like years. You know, they don't decompose in that. These you can kind of clean them. You can use them once or twice if you want. And you know what? When you're done with this, you know, you can go and buy some more pool noodles. If you get one at the Dollar Tree, it's $1. You get about 48 out of them, maybe 50. You know, they come out to 2 cents a piece. You might not want to bother, you know, trying to clean it and you use them. You know, I try to be as frugal as I can. Um, but, you know, for 2 cents a piece, you can go through 10 or 20 of these before it costs what one cloning collar costs. So that's the beauty of it being so cheap. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and be shutting it down. Any more questions, let me know. And if you're tuning in late, downspouts are still on sale. They'll be on sale. Buy one get one free until I just get so swamped that I can't do any and I need to get back to work. But as long as I got some time, I don't mind making some more and helping people out. And so I'll keep the sale going. But once I get like busy, I'll go ahead and take the sale off and they'll be back to regular price. We're teaching other people to grow these too, so I won't be the only one. I mean, to make these, I won't be the only ones doing it. So maybe you'll see some other people selling them too. Like I said, you know, it's just I'm just cutting ends off and drilling. You know, it's not like, you know, it's my proprietary kind of design or anything. You know, so I'd rather 100 people out there make it, and like half the United States is like growing stuff, you know, that wouldn't normally be growing. You know, and you know, I'm not knocking a traditional garden. If you love doing that, you like getting your hands dirty, go do that. And my wife still has like a herb garden that too. We love that. I'm just trying to do something that's easy. People who live in apartments can do it. People who have back problems, elderly, disabled people can do this. You know, it's just something that you're just trying to help everybody out. Have a great week, guys. Yeah, everybody, anybody that's popping out, I'm just kind of wrapping it up. If you guys, you know, I don't want to keep everybody, you know, stuck around here. You know, have a nice night and that. Appreciate y'all stopping in. Hook up with me on Twitter or Keep On Growing if you got questions or if you just want to talk. And let's see, one more. Master Blend does, let's see, ship Prime. Oh, they don't ship Prime? Let's see, but C90 goes Prime to Hawaii. Oh, wow, to Hawaii. I guess it'll be experimenting in Hawaii. Yeah, let me know how that goes because I'm going to order some and give that a try too. This little kit here, this came Prime. And okay, so the regular Master Blend, it comes from the company's not Prime. Yeah, I feel for you out in Hawaii. I had some family out there. They were telling me how expensive a lot of the stuff is, and that's why it's kind of important to like grow some of your own food and that too. If you can cut back on your grocery bill. Alrighty, so I'm gonna be wrapping it up. If anyone doesn't have any more questions, like I said, if you're coming afterwards, we talked about the nutrients and cutting up the noodles, and we talked about what goes into growing like this. Y'all got any questions? Just hook up with me, and you guys have a fantastic week. Got any questions about where your order is or anything, just message me and I'll try to keep in contact with you. Like I said, I'm not Amazon. I don't have like a bunch of these stored up that I cut and produce each one of these when y'all order it. And also the Home Depot and Lowe's and everything around me are running out and they're not restocking, and I'm having to go farther and farther away to try and find some more. They're probably wondering what's happening because basically if you're going to put gutters on your house, you buy a bunch of gutters to go around your house, and then you buy a downspout to go on the end, or maybe two downspouts. So basically you're buying only a few of these. You're buying, dozens of gutters. So usually they go through a lot of gutters and a few of these. So they don't keep a lot in stock. And then I come in and grab 20 of them or something, and I buy no gutters. So their inventory showing, that there's not a lot of gutters going, but all the downspouts are gone. They're wondering what the hell's going on. And then the store next to them runs out, next one down. So that's kind of funny. Alrighty, cool. So we'll talk to y'all later. I don't see any more questions coming in. You guys get out there. Thank you so much. Like I said, I love all of the support. Let me know what you want to see us growing. We're going to be fixing up the backyard. Oh, we might be doing some live streams out there too, instead of just like this in here. This is at night. Y'all let me know if you'd like to see some like morning or afternoon live streams, and we're going to try and put the camera and everything out in the garden. And let me know if people are like busy during the week, if maybe we should do it on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I don't know when people are like busy Sunday morning, so we're kind of tossing that around. But we might pop on like in the morning and maybe do a juice out in the garden, or maybe cook a little bit, a recipe with some of the stuff in the garden, and talk with everybody. But we've been kicking that around. So if you guys have any ideas about that, and I'll mention that in the next video and that too, let us know, because I think that would be kind of fun. Let's see, have them shipped to you. They'll come out to the warehouse. Oh, okay. You mean so have them? Yeah, but like I said, I have to make them and everything. So I was trying to get them quick because I don't want to wait too long. And when I went and checked for them to ship it here, it was like 2 weeks out. When their next shipment was coming in, when I could get it. So it'd be 2 weeks, and then I'd have to fabricate them, pack them, ship them, and everyone would wait like 3 weeks before I even got them in the mail. So I've been looking around, and like I said, if I would have foreseen how many I need, I could have maybe ordered them a little sooner, but kind of hard to tell, right? So okay, let's see, 1, 2. I think we're all done here. No more comments coming in. All right, guys, get out there, live to inspire, keep on growing. And then there's always an awkward pause to end the stream. All right, catch you guys.